Okay, starting off with week 1 of spring anime. The winter season's finally over. A bunch of hype shows we had, but now we have like a bunch of new shows. The biggest one would probably be My Hero Season 5, but we also have a bunch of like original shows, some sci-fi genres, some idol shows, some remakes like Shaman King, as well as great Season 2s like Megalobox. So yeah, just like a variety of shows. I think this season is like kind of special where you don't know which one could be good, which one could be bad. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of excited to review the starting week because of just like the amount of sheer variety we have this season. So yeah, starting off with My Hero Season 5. Yeah, we're already in Season 5 already. Seems like we made a bit of progress, but our class is still first years, still not big heroes yet, still studying. And they had some cool missions in Season 4, some nice slice of life as well. Season 5 just seems to keep going, expanding on the school life, expanding on the world. So yeah, direction the show can be taken is kind of unknown, can lead to like any different path. And we have 3 episodes so far. So yeah, a good amount of story development here. So episode 1, we see Endeavor, how he like got attacked by the Nomu and now he survived. He really cemented his place as the #1 hero now, with the help of Hawks. But then he's just seriously injured, he's in the hospital. He has a cool scar on his face. And yeah, he's basically the All Might replacement as of now. After that, we're back into school, where there's a training mission. So I guess this is a cool kind of first episode introduction. We get all the characters from Class 1A together. They're all using their powers to fight the big 3, the Senpais. And they're also trying to rescue Lemillion, because he's trying to act as the civilian. So yeah, really funny. We see Nejire using her powers, just flying in the air, while everyone's trying to stop her. And Tamaki just doesn't want to be there, the antisocial animal dude. So yeah, fun training mission to start off the school life. So yeah, great first episode to start off the season. We see Endeavor, and then we also see all the kids just like showing off their powers. And then they're easing us into episode 2 where we get the evil villain here. So it's Dabi from the League of Villains. And then apparently he attacked Endeavor after their fight with Nomu. And then he's also like, him and Hawks have like kind of a thing. So besides that, we also see Mirko, the rabbit hero, and then she just jumps up high. First introduction in the anime. So yeah, very strong bunny hero. She has hops and she can also like brawl with you. She scares Dabi away. He teleports out. But they're setting up the League of Villains again. We'll see what they're gonna do. After that, we realize the Hawks is a double agent. So he's pretending to work with the League of Villains. Like he's like, oh, I sympathize with your views. And then he's actually working with the heroes. Like he's like their undercover agent. But we also see his past where he was kind of like used. No one really cared about his feelings. So yeah, they're planting the seeds for Hawks' like tragic character right here. Also, we see Endeavor. He's trying to make up with his family. The mom forgives him, but it's just like after years of abuse, all this like trauma, him not even like showing love to any of the family, and him trying to like get back into their lives as like kind of the nicer type of guy that he is. Well, it's not that easy. One of the brothers hates him. The fun sister that wants to be friends with everyone, she's trying to mediate it. And then yeah, just like real family situation with Endeavor and all the people. Besides that, the biggest thing we see is Deku has a dream where he sees the first One For All. He kind of sees all the One For Alls in his mind. So it's literally like he's talking to all the other avatars in his head. So yeah, we kind of see shadows of All Might, All Might's mentor, and all the other people. I think there's like 9 people in this line. Deku's the 9th guy that has the power of One For All. And then he sees the first One For All, who's the brother of All For One. Who could have seen that coming? So yeah, he was kind of like a weak dude. He sees All For One just like using his power to grow an army. Where, he's like giving people power, taking their powers away. So then the brother doesn't really want to do that, but the brother doesn't really have any powers. So All For One is like, alright, I found a power that even you can use. But yeah, that was interesting to see the first One For All. But Deku doesn't see the whole vision, since he only has 20% of the power. So like the memory's kind of blurred at the end. He says to Deku to come back when he has like more control of his power so he can see more of the memory. So yeah, that was pretty sick. They're developing the One For All power more. It's about time. Now we see the actual first guy who had it. And, it might play a part in Deku's development. So yeah, episode 3, Deku talks to All Might about it. All Might's like, yeah, you can see the past, the One For All users. Like, that's normal. But the fact that you actually talk to the guy, that's a little different. No one else ever did that. So yeah, maybe he'll like help you, give advice to you, but this is like the first time ever, so we don't really know. And then after that, we have like a group battle, a mini tournament arc where Class 1A and 1B fight each other. And then there's the mind control guy. He also wants to transfer into the Hero Academy. So yeah, his name is Shinso, and we see his power. He kind of has like a mask to kind of direct his power, and it's called persona chords, and that allows him to control people's minds. And then yeah, we also see all the 1B people, all those classmates. So many new characters introduced, like they get their own 1 second introduction. And yeah, the point of the training arc is to capture 4 people and you win. So right now it's Froppy, Kaminari, Kirishima, and the dude who talks to animals, along with the mind control guy. And they're fighting like this big Sasquatch dude, and then the girl with the green tentacle hair. So yeah, exciting kind of tournament arc. But yeah, for the first 3 episodes, there were like light story points. So yeah, typical My Hero feel. You know, the production levels are amazing still. The music, OPs, and EDs are very solid. Animation is good. So yeah, great start for My Hero Season 5. We got 25 episodes, so you know, there's a lot of stuff to go for. Also, there's going to be another movie coming out for this. Probably not related to this season, but just like, you know, more movie stuff. So, you know, just a lot of My Hero to keep people satisfied. Okay, so for Fruits Basket, the final, episode 1. Okay, the final season of Fruits Basket, we in here. We had around 50 episodes so far, and, you know, I think it's going to be the 13-episode season to wrap up everything. So yeah, we found out everyone's backstories these past 2 seasons. Just Toru dealing with it. Her emotions as well, her having a relationship with Kyo. So right now it's Akito versus Toru. They're both sides. Like, Toru wants people to be free and happy. Akito wants people to be bonded to her forever. Just like a great emotional setup right here. And you know, episode 1 carries that same energy. So it's like they haven't missed a beat from the last season where we get the reveal that Akito is actually a woman that was raised as a boy. So yeah, it wasn't the biggest secret. We see this reverse trap over here, really attached to all the male members of the Soma family. So yeah, this episode, Toru talks with the original Rooster Zodiac guy. So he tells her about how Akito's mom, she was like very manipulative. So Akito hates her mom. Like, her mom wanted Akito to be raised as a boy. So they keep fighting. Akito like wants her mom to die. Akito's mom keeps taking her men from the Zodiac. So, you know, some funny development between both of them. Toru also gets kind of sad. She's like crying in the park because she couldn't get Yo and Kurano to hook up. That was her main goal, to help her blonde friend. So yeah, the wave girl Saki comes into the rescue. They all hang out at her house, and then you know, Toru's crying that she couldn't help Yo. And then Yo's like, come on, dummy, we're friends. Like, this isn't the big deal. And, you know, you're trying so hard for me. Like, I don't want to make you sad too, Toru. And so, yeah, nice heartwarming moment by the 3 friends. And then they have a sleepover together. The next day, Toru, she lost her scarf because she was crying in the park and it flew away. Kyo actually found it. He washed it for Toru and brought it back to her. So yeah, the episode ends with Toru just realizing what she has to do from Kurano's words. She wants to level up her ability to save all the Soma members. She realizes why, like, ever since they're born, they're bonded to Akito, so she has to kind of break that bond somehow. Okay, so for Vivy, Fluorite Eyes Song, episodes 1 to 3. This is an original anime made by Wit Studio. I kind of had, like, not too many expectations for the show at all. Just thought, like, blue-haired idol girl, you know, I'm down for this. Maybe the waifus will be nice. But then, yeah, it's just, like, sci-fi theme, action theme. Just, like, you know, a great kind of unexpectedly cool story. So it's not really too original, but, you know, has to do with artificial intelligence and, you know, fixing the timeline. So how do we go from blue-haired idol singer to action sci-fi? Well, basically, she's an AI. And we're in a world where, like, complex AIs are just, like, being created. She works for, like, this Disney World place. It's called Nearland. So then all the workers are AI, and she's an AI idol. So yeah, they made her the first humanoid AI. So, you know, she has one goal. And all the AIs in this world seem to have one goal, where to make an efficient AI, like, you only have one job, so it doesn't get too complicated. But then we see in the future, all the AIs seem to, like, attack back, and just seem to be murdering all the people. So people in this Disney World theme park are just dying, while the singing AI is just like doing her job. So yeah, that seems to be a preview of things to come, murdering AI robots. So then we realized that all that murdering stuff is happening 100 years in the future. And yeah, since she's like the first type of humanoid AI, the fact that they try to make her a bit more human makes it actually like the opposite effect, where she's actually like super robotic, where she wants to do her mission, and she's only focused on that, like making people happy with her songs. She doesn't know like when to smile, how to give like proper responses. So yeah, she has a very funny robotic personality. You know, reminds me of like a Violet Evergarden type of character. So yeah, her name is Diva, but she has like this friend, this little girl that like kind of guides her and stuff. If you sing your songs, make everyone happy, then you can perform on the big stage, and I'll see you on the big stage. And then she also names her Vivy. So yeah, our blue-haired girl is Vivy. So then one day she meets like this kind of teddy bear that tells her, I'm coming here 100 years into the future, and we have to kind of stop this thing from happening where there's kind of like an AI law that passes that gives us like artificial intelligence like names and rights. So it kind of like speeds up their evolution, and now they're kind of becoming sentient and like attacking people 100 years in the future. There's a war. So he wants to stop this war from happening. So that's our major plot point. These AIs are getting more freedoms, getting more independent, and like I guess buggy, so now they're like being evil. So, you know, another case of just like evil artificial intelligence just attacking people. And then this kind of teddy bear traveled to tell her this. Like he got sent back in time somehow. And then now like he sought to find Vivy. Not because she's special or anything, but just because she kind of survived the whole AI attack. Because she was like stuck in some museum. So it's like, oh, maybe she's the chosen one. So then Vivy doesn't really care about this. She's like, oh, I'm trying to do my one job, which is to sing. Not a lot of people see her sing though. And then the AI from the future, Matsumoto, he's like, okay, well, what if I told you there was a bomb that's going to explode in this park, in this one garbage can, that's going to kill this politician? What are you going to do then? And she wants to help people because that's part of her programming. So she's like, okay, tell me where the bomb is. So yeah, she saves the dude that was supposed to be blown up by the bomb. And that kind of proves how Matsumoto is from the future. He's kind of manipulating the timeline so AIs don't develop as rapidly as they have and just like start causing war on people. So yeah, Vivy just transforms from a robotic, monotonous idol into just like an action hero. She wants to save people. That's like her mission because it's like, oh, if she saves people, they'll listen to her sing. So the more people she saves, like she's technically doing her job as an AI. So yeah, they're trying to stop the AI naming law from passing. And it passes when this politician dies because the people see him die. And they're like, oh shit, the terrorists killed him. We should honor him by passing this law that he wanted to pass. We see Vivy, instead of like her dress, she has a cool tank top and like guard outfit. So yeah, I'm really digging kind of the missions we're going for here. Where this blue-haired idol girl is literally trying to fight and protect people. So yeah, she struggles a bit because, you know, she's not used to like fighting people. She's a singer. But yeah, her and Matsumoto, they do well. They save the politician. As well as they also rescue some of the terrorists that were going to be attacked in the crumbling building. And then they realized that the politician they saved, he kind of didn't really care about AIs at all. He kind of just piggybacked the AI naming law for street cred. But then Vivy tells him, it's not about how long you lived your life. It's about how you lived your life. And yeah, motivational statement by her. She kind of changed this politician's life. And then, you know, it kind of like talks about her as well, trying to discover herself as a person. And like she seems to be evolving as well, turning from like basic one function idol singer into like kind of like a humanoid artificial intelligence that like has a heart and wants to rescue people. So yeah, that was a cool setup for the first 2 episodes. But then episode 2 kind of ends with the little girl that named her Vivy. She was trying to rescue her because she died in a plane crash. But then Matsumoto stopped her because it's not part of their timeline saving operation. Vivy tried rescuing her, like, I don't know, stopping the plane or something. But Matsumoto like attacked Vivy and says you can't just stop every single accident that's ever happened. You're gonna fuck up the timeline like that. So it's kind of like a tragic ending to episode 2 where we see Vivy, where, you know, fixing this 100-year timeline. There's gonna be some tragic stuff that might happen in the future. So then yeah, that was kind of interesting because in episode 3 we get a 15-year time skip. So then more people are hearing Vivy sing. She's doing a great job. She asked one of the maintenance dudes about oh, what's it like to have a heart? He says like the heart, like, it's kind of just like a random emotion that science can't explain. But he also asked Vivy, what does putting your heart into something mean to you? So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, after this 15-year time skip, Matsumoto makes another appearance where he's like, oh, we have another mission, Vivy. But then yeah, they continue on the mission just because their actions earlier actually escalated this AI naming law. So yeah, their next step in the timeline manipulation is going to outer space. Because there's the space hotel where, you know, a typical sci-fi future show, people like to chill in space. But yeah, they realize that the space hotel is going to come crashing down and then everyone that's on it is going to die. And it makes the human AI tensions like kind of bad. So yeah, if they stop this hotel from crashing, then that's like a big step in their plan. And it's run by Estelle, who's this blonde singing AI. So she's basically the little sister of Vivy. Like they're kind of based off on each other. She actually owns this hotel too since the original owner died. And then, you know, she wanted to keep it running. So yeah, Estelle is the owner of the space hotel and she also makes it crash. But then we see Vivy kind of talk to her and stuff, and we realize that she's innocent. Like, she wants to help people, and she's a great singer. So then, yeah, everything's good. The ship didn't crash yet. They still have one more day. And then Estella's kind of singing to all the people. So yeah, interesting setup we have with this anime. Just like, a bunch of missions. We have 100 years to work with. There's going to be some time skips. And Vivy seems to be like a great kind of AI main character. She's like very protagonist-like, very emotionless, but also trying to discover herself. So yeah, keep doing you, Wit, because the action, music, story so far, it's pretty interesting. I want to see it unfold. So after that, we got another original anime, Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood. So I'm really digging this setting, and the story is pretty interesting too. So it takes place in kind of like an industrial era Japan. So 1930s. There's like a mix of like cities and rural villages. There are all these like supernatural like elements, mythological stuff, like people turning into animals, just like people transforming. So yeah, what's this anime about? It seems to be about assassins so far, and a revenge type of story. So in the first episode, we see this girl Yuki, and she also has this little sister that she takes care of. We see Yuki living her life. She's wearing her kimono and has an umbrella. And yeah, she goes to her job at night, where she's an assassin, and she works with these other people in their assassin group. I think the group is called Nue. So like their gang, they just like do missions, kill people. So then Yuki has this blue blood. She can kind of transform into like this ghostly white and blue supernatural figure. So yeah, that seems to be like her power. And yeah, she's really adept at killing people. The thing is that the dude she's targeting, he was a visitor of the bookstore, and he transformed into like this evil animal man. So she killed this dude that got human experimented on for some reason. But yeah, I'm really digging the assassin theme in the industrial era. So we see Yuki in her past, where her entire village and family got murdered right in front of her, and then her brother told her to stop talking so they don't find her. So then that's it for episode 1. In episode 2, it also gets a bit juicy, where we see Yuki's little sister. Yuki actually killed her parents and then adopted her. So then that little girl's name is Asahi, and then she's living with Yuki ever since. And it's like, okay, I saw you kill my parents right in front of me, which is like the same thing that happened to Yuki. Like her parents got killed in front of her too. So she feels kind of guilty that it's like a circle of violence. So yeah, Asahi tries to murder Yuki constantly. So like in her sleep she tries to stab her, but Yuki's like always aware. So yeah, that seems to be very interesting. Asahi is looking for revenge. Yuki's also looking for revenge. And they both seem to be having trouble finding it. But then yeah, this episode, Yuki and the assassins, they have a mission to rescue this treasury lady. She kind of has like a strong memory. She remembers everything. So Yuki asks the treasury woman if you have any knowledge of like what happened in my village, because all the records seem to be gone. Because she doesn't know who to target for her revenge. And then she does know the treasury lady, but she doesn't tell her because her son is like taken as leverage. So if the lady snitches out anything, then the son will be killed. But then Yuki's like, I'll protect you and your son. And she's like, oh, you're gonna go against the whole organization for that? And Yuki's like, revenge is the only thing I want. And then after that, the treasury lady gets murdered by Yuki's assassin partner, Elena. So yeah, they're about to kill her anyway because I guess she has too much information. And then Yuki gets kind of mad, and then her and Elena face off at the end of the episode. So I'm kind of curious. I don't think it's going to be a full-on fight, because then that's like super escalation. But it shows that Yuki's kind of struggling. There's like people dying all around her. She's living this assassin life. She doesn't know where to go for her revenge next. But then, a lot of cool Japanese scenery, history, setting, and supernatural abilities. If you want an original story about assassins, I guess, this one is flowing very well so far. And I guess we'll continue the lineup of original animes with Dynazenon, episodes 1 to 2. So yeah, another trigger anime. You probably know what to expect here. Either some aliens, some cool ending action scene, some mechas, some slice of lives. Yeah, so Dynazenon is here. It's kind of interesting to see the Gridman universe expand. Because yeah, Gridman was very good. Just like mecha slice of life combination. It was done very well. The story was nice. And this franchise is pretty interesting because the slice of life is done very well, and the actual mecha stuff is done very well. I actually care about like the characters outside of the mecha more than them in the mecha fighting stuff, because I feel like that's where the development happens. Overall, I prefer Gridman so far, but Dynazenon has an interesting setup. So we meet our main character Yomogi, who's like a standard schoolboy, black hair, and he kind of wants to be independent, so that's why he's working part-time jobs. We also meet a dude Galma. He has red hair, and he calls himself the Monster Tamer. He seems to be from the future or something, because when he comes here, he's like starving and he doesn't know where to go. So then Yomogi gives him a hot dog egg sandwich, and then he's like, "Thank you for rescuing my life." And he becomes friends with Yomogi, but Yomogi sees him as kind of like a weirdo, so he runs away. After that, we meet another character, Yume Minami, and then she's kind of edgy because she asks a lot of dudes out on dates, but then she doesn't show up, and then they're just like waiting for hours. Yeah, it's kind of weird how she's doing that. We kind of see like details of these kids, like her parents are fighting all the time, so maybe that's why. We see Yomogi doesn't have a dad, and then his mom is kind of like a bit annoying, doesn't really care about him too much. She cares about like kind of her own self. And they also have a grandmother that just like watches TV all the time. We also meet these pair of dudes. One is Koyomi, and then there's this red-haired little girl that he hangs out with named Chise. So yeah, interesting set of characters we have. And then one day, Yume Minami, she asks Yomogi out on a date. So Yomogi accepts, but then she stands him up again. And then Galma comes in. He's like, "Yomogi, why are you waiting here?" And then he realizes that Yume stood him up. So he goes and finds her. And then he wingmans Yomogi by just like yelling at Yume and telling her, "Yo, why are you standing up Yomogi? Why would you do that to my boy?" And then after all of this, like this big kaiju appears. So in Galma, he kind of activates something on his phone, and then he basically summons this giant kaiju. So it's like their mecha that they're fighting in. It's called Dynazenon this time, and it requires 4 people to operate. So Yume, Yomogi, Galma, and Koyomi, they're all in the same area together, so they all happen to be part of Dynazenon. So it's a little different from Gridman, which is only one guy piloting, with some other dudes acting as weapons. This is like all of them together are operating this Dynazenon. So it looks cool, like giant Optimus Prime looking thing, but it can also transform into a dinosaur. That's like its gimmick. And then yeah, they're fighting kaijus with Galma as the leader. So I wonder why he had this kaiju ability to summon. Like he called himself a monster hunter. And then in episode 2, they all kind of hang out. And they're part of Dynazenon, so I guess they train together. Yomogi and Yume actually talk a bit. Yomogi's like, "Oh, I don't care that you stood me up that day," but it's still unexplained why she keeps asking guys to hang out with her, but then ignoring them. Also, she tells Yomogi that her sister died, but we don't really get too much after that. So yeah, Yume's sister died, and then her parents are also fighting, so you know, she might not have like a good family life, no one to turn to. The anime's feeling good so far, as they're training the Dynazenon. The thing is, Yomogi doesn't show up to the Dynazenon training, he goes to work instead. So Galma kind of asks him, "Yo, why are you doing this?" So he sleeps over at his house, they have kind of a bath together. His mom lets him in, and then yeah, they eat together, they sleep together. But then he leaves pretty early and like cleans up after himself, so yeah, Galma seems like a good guy, just like he doesn't have anywhere to go. So in yeah, episode 2, there's another kaiju fight, which is pretty cool. We have like 2 kaiju fights in a row. And then now we find like the villains that we're facing off. They're called Kaiju Eugenesis, where they just control kaijus. I'm kind of indifferent to the story so far since it seems a bit predictable and edgy. So yeah, I guess we'll wait for the characters to develop a bit more as they fight more Kaiju Eugenesis. Okay, so for 86, episode 1. This is an interesting anime based on a light novel, and the story seems pretty juicy. So it takes place in the year 2148, so it's like a future world. We're seen in like the city of San Magnolia, where everyone just has white hair, and our main character's name is Lana, and she has like this blue military coat, a nice blue beret, and yeah, kind of like a cute military outfit by her as she goes into the army building. We see the city, it seems like a bit too perfect. So yeah, in the army building, we see like most of the army people are just like, you know, drunk, not taking their job seriously. So they seem like kind of typical government workers. And Lena really cares about the army. She wants to do everything seriously, so yeah, no jokes around her. The main thing we get here is that there are like these drones that are fighting the battles. And they're kind of like automatic drones that are just like powered by the captains. So, you know, there's like no one dying in these wars. But then Lena doesn't like how people are just like making fun of them, where they're just like, "Oh, they're just stupid drones," and Lena's like, "Don't call them drones, like call them by their names, call them 86ers. The thing is, we see like the army is gonna be finished in 2 years, so yeah, after that, all the war is over. and we're fighting the war with these automatic drones. So yeah, basically Lena is like a handler, giving orders and directions while they fight. And then now she wants to transfer her job to the Spearhead group. The thing is that the last few people that were assigned to the Spearhead group, they all kind of got traumatized or killed themselves, and they also like heard voices from ghosts. So yeah, that's an interesting setup. There's like a cool city, all these white-haired people, they're living nice lives. Lena's part of the army. The army doesn't really take things too seriously. But then yeah, Lena wants to guide these drones. We also see Lena's friend. She's part of like the research group, and they're discovering like the linking of people's brains and bodies to like, run the drone operation. And then yeah, a cute scene where they eat cake and cream puffs with real eggs and milk. So that's pretty important detail where they usually eat synthetic food like synthetic eggs and meat. So it seems like there's not a lot of farmland or livestock available. So like the world outside the city might be like in ruins. But yeah, anyway, after that, we go to the 86ers, which are actually people. They're like orphans that are just like living, working, and maintaining these drones, as well as just like living and cooking with each other. So we find out that the 86ers are actually like manning the drones, like they're actually piloting them. So they're actually risking their lives in battle, even though everyone in San Magnolia thinks that the drones are humanless. So I guess this is the primary plot point they're going for. The drones actually have people in them. Lena's gonna realize this, and then she's probably gonna have like a hard time coping. Like, damn, these people are actually dying. Since she already cares about the drones when she doesn't know there's people in them. So yeah, I'm really digging this plotline. A lot of cool characters and world building so far. Also, probably an important character. We see the Undertaker, also the Reaper, I guess. But when one of their squad mates gets injured in battle, he seems to like kill them to put them out of their misery. So, all of this stuff is happening. Like, it's not a happy life for these 86ers. But then I guess Lena is like the perfect main character to handle this rejected group of misfits that are, just forced to be in the army. Okay, so for I Shaved and Then Picked Up a High School Girl, episode 1, the title is basically the anime. So this dude, he got rejected by this woman in his office. So and after that, he got kind of sad. Like, he just like, went to the bar, drank, and just complained. But, life goes on, even though the girl rejected him. But yeah, after that rejection, it's like all his time was wasted. She already has a man's, and now he goes home all drunk. But then he sees some random homeless high school girl just sitting on the street. So then our man's, he's like half drunk. But then he's like, okay, can you go home? Like, what are you doing sitting here? But then she's like, oh no, I'll have sex with you. He's like, no, hell no, don't even joke about that. And then she's like, okay, let me stay at your house for free, no sex. And then yeah, he gives in. And the fact that he takes her in, it's just such a random circumstance. But yeah, he says, don't sell out your body. And then she's like, oh, I live with a lot of dudes. They never really cared about me. So, that's the whole setup right here. They're living together now. He kind of like employs her as a maid. So yeah, anime aside, I don't know if he's doing the right or wrong thing in this situation. But it does create an environment of, two dudes trying to better themselves. One got rejected and one is just like running away from home. Okay, so for Shaman King episode 1, the remake of Shaman King out here 2021, like very unexpected. I did see this show dubbed a bit when I was younger. I know it's like some dude talking to ghosts. I'm probably not gonna watch it after this and just like wait until it finishes up to watch it because straight up 52 episodes it's going for, so it's probably worth waiting for more episodes to come out. But yeah, the premise is basically this dude he's a shaman, he can talk to spirits, and then he lets the spirits possess his body to like, perform certain tasks. And yeah, the art style, shonen elements are pretty funny. Like, it's funny how the dudes are like really short with big heads. I like how they wear their shirts like just fully buttoned down. So yeah, character design is all over the place. But yeah, basically, this dude wants to be the Shaman King. And then he also has a friend, Oyamada, who can also see spirits, but he doesn't know anything about like the shaman life. So yeah, first episode, he sees like this cursed graveyard. And there's a story of like this samurai dude. So and yeah, Yo's working on being a shaman. He's still like a little kid. And then, we'll probably meet more characters as it goes on. And then yeah, I guess it's a good way to bring back nostalgia for the series, as well as like introduce a new audience to this older shonen series. Okay, so for Combatants Will Be Dispatched episode 1, kind of a very funny comedy, fantasy, isekai type of story, where, there's a lot of fourth wall breaking jokes, a lot of just like wacky moments and fan service. So yeah, it's that type of anime. So our two main characters is this action hero dude, Roku Go, who's kind of goofy, as well as this dude Alice, who's this blonde-haired kind of android who assists Rokugo on his missions. So then his mission is to discover other worlds to like take over. Because I guess they're running out of resources or something. So yeah, he's part of like this evil group that wants world domination. But the group is filled with a bunch of just like waifus and wacky characters, so it's not that serious. There's like stuff like evil points that they get if they do evil things. But yeah, they invented this teleporter that sends them to other worlds. And then, Rokugo wants to do this because it's like, oh yeah, if I take over the planet, I'll be the king. Alice kind of makes fun of him and stuff. And then yeah, he visits a new planet. And then he meets Snow, who's a knight who like helps him out and escorts him to the kingdom. And then she gives him a mission to fix their rain creating device. Like they have like this machine that makes it rain, but some of the circuits broke. So yeah, Alice fixes it. The thing is, like, he makes it so it requires, like, a voice-activated password. And he makes the password Dick Festival. So he gets some evil points for doing that, because, if the princess says Dick Festival, it's going to be very embarrassing. But then she finds out about this, so he gets in trouble. But then he's kind of like, oh, I'll help you out fighting the magic beast. So yeah, there's a lot of magic beasts that are attacking, so they're tasked with saving the kingdom. And then Snow gets relegated to, like, his... not his servant, but like she has to follow him now. So yeah, she kind of got demoted even though she wanted to climb the ladder. So yeah, funny setup, I guess. We got Rokugo, Alice, and Snow as our main characters, exploring this fantasy world. It's going to be funny, there's going to be jokes, but it might get a bit repetitive, so they do have a lot of waifus though, so like, that's always a good thing. Okay, so for Zombieland Saga Revenge, episode 1. Yeah, this is the season 2 of Zombieland Saga, wow. One of the cooler idol shows, very memeable. I remember in season 1, our main girl got hit by a car, and also like that big rap battle they had. So it's kind of like an original idol anime that Map was just working on. The idol stuff was fun. We saw that all these girls are like zombies, so they had some tragic backstories, like maybe like there's a reason that they died. And then yeah, their mission now that they're resurrected is to bring back Saga. So like they live in this village called Saga that's kind of failing, so bring back interest in Saga by being successful idols. So yeah, starting from episode 1 here, we see that these girls performed at this huge concert hall, but only 500 people showed up in a stadium of like 50,000. So yeah, they had a 1% attendance rate for their first like huge concert, and it basically bombed. And that's like a big deal because now they're in massive debt. We gotta get part-time jobs to pay off the debt. So our main guy is kind of in shambles. The very energetic leader, Tatsumi, he's an alcoholic now. So yeah, season 2 kind of starts off with like a huge shift in the story. But yeah, Sakura wants to cheer him up and stuff, but he doesn't want to change his mind. And he's always yelling and complaining. So then the girls go back into the metal concert where they we saw them season 1, now they're back. Their band Fran Shushu is making a performance. But then everyone in the concert hall like are booing them because they don't want to see these idol failures just performing in their metal concerts. They kind of want to make a revival, but they're doing bad. And then we see Tatsumi in a new bar, and he's all complaining. But then the bartender kind of talks to him and like makes him feel a lot better. He's like, "Why are you giving up? Like these girls depend on you," stuff like that. And then he rushes back into their venue, and he like cheers up the crowd. He's like, "Encore, encore, we want to see you again." And everyone else is like, "What are you doing? Why are you yelling encore? We don't want to hear that." And then they start fighting. So then there's like a huge fight. All the Fran Shushu stands are fighting all the metal fans. And it's pretty funny because then the idol girls are like, "Yeah, it's time for our encore." So they're playing their song while everyone is fighting in the crowd. It's very funny because like in the middle of the fight, they just like stop and listen. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is pretty good." And then yeah, we're back to normal now, end of episode 1. We've succeeded this concert. We're still in massive debt, but the idol life goes on. And we have to figure out what we gotta do to be more popular to save Saga. Okay, so I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. So, another light novel based anime. This is an isekai where this woman just dies in her 20s from overworking. Like she's been working her whole life in this office and working for like 50 plus days in a row sometimes. And then yeah, when she died, the goddess kind of revived her and she's like, "Oh, I have a soft spot for women, so I'll make her next life nice and fun." So then yeah, she's like, "Can I be immortal and live like somewhere kind of like closed off so I can just like chill by myself?" So then yeah, her wish is granted, so she's like this immortal witch. Basically slice of life isekai comedy where the main character wants to chill and relax. She's like cooking, doing gardening, killing slimes. So she only kills 25 slimes a day, but it's just like light exercise for her. So yeah, that's all she does. And then 300 years later, like quick time skip, like who cares? 300 years. She's still the same, but she's like the oldest person in the village now. She knows all their history and stuff. So everyone kind of looks up to her. She saved people from plagues and like, different type of problems. So she's more of like playing like the doctor role instead of like a fighter. The thing is, one day when she goes to the guild, they're like, "Oh, it's been 300 years since we analyzed your level. Can we check it out now?" So yeah, she's like, "Oh, why not?" And then she's level 99. So yeah, basically our main girl is max combat. And yeah, her name is Azusa. So yeah, Azusa the witch is like the strongest person in this entire world, just by killing slimes for 300 years. So basically when she kills slimes, they only give you 2 XP. But then Azusa has a special skill that like doubles that XP. So she gets 4 XP per slime. And then I guess if she kills 25 slimes for 300 years, that's like enough levels to be maxed out. So then yeah, she's like, "Okay, I get it, I'm the strongest person, but can you keep it on the down low?" But then the thing is, like, people in the guild overheard her. So they try to challenge her to combat, but she beats them up easily. So yeah, she's really strong in magic, and she's also physically strong. So yeah, the 17-year-old witch just like maxed out her level by killing slimes for 300 years. That's the whole premise. But then they spice it up by having a new dragon show up. And then the dragon claims to be the strongest dragon. It's like this big red dragon. And then Azusa has no choice to fight it, or else it'll go on a rampage and break her house. So yeah, she fights the dragon. It tries to breathe fire, but then she uses ice magic to seal its mouth. And yeah, she defeats it. It just collapses, but it also breaks her house, the one thing she was trying to avoid. So then she yells at the dragon and threatens it, like, "I'll kill you if you don't fix my house." So then she's like, "Hold up, okay, I got money, I'll come back and fix it." And then since her house is wrecked, she decides to live in the village. And then she meets this girl, Laika. She has red hair and she has horns. And this girl is familiar because she's the dragon that Azusa just beat, just her human form. So, just like Dragon Maid, we got a nice dragon waifu here, as she joins Azusa as her apprentice because she wants to get stronger. So yeah, this isekai is pretty fun. It's pretty typical level of comedy and slice of life, but the characters seem to be very funny. Okay, and now for Ijiranaide, Nagatoro-san, episode 1. So yeah, we got another teasing anime. Basically, we're in school, and our main character is just gonna get verbally abused this whole series. This seems kind of familiar. I'm getting some Takagi-san vibes. I'm getting some Uzaki-chan vibes. But I guess what the show does different is it has like a tan girl now teasing. And she's actually very savage. So, very strong verbal abuse. She actually makes the dude cry. So she goes like a little too far sometimes. But yeah, I guess she's trying to like help this guy out from his like shyness, where he's just like really passive and gets bullied a lot. And just like very unconfident. So yeah, Nagatoro, she sees something in this guy, so she keeps teasing him. I did read a few chapters of the manga for this, so typical teasing, but this anime is very solid. The voice acting is nice, the music is good, and also like the facial expressions are so well done. There's a lot of detail in Nagatoro's sadistic face. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this stacks up to the other teasing shows. But yeah, our main character is kind of like an art student. He likes to draw manga and stuff, but like Nagatoro's making fun of him a lot, so she just cries in front of her. Very obvious like teasing ploys where she's just like, "Oh, I'll give you a prize, I'll kiss you," or "I'll be your girlfriend." And then she's like, "Oh, you really thought I'd do that? Haha, what a loser." So yeah, I wonder how long it'll take for this dude to pick up on the teasing and fire back at her, because Nagatoro does not pull any punches.